and she says, we really need the mental health professionals and social workers and our teachers, and we really do need all those people, but she forgets to thank our police officers, right? Our police officers are the ones, our police officers are the ones in these situations who are arresting the criminals, who have the ability, the capability to do that. None of the other professions can do that. We cannot rely on social workers and mental health professionals to arrest criminals. That's just crazy. We do need them, but we also need our police. And she gets up and she has the audacity to say that we don't need our police officers. What kind of a society would we live in if we didn't have our police, right? So let's just thank our brave police officers, and I know we have some police officers in the crowd, who are waking up every day and risking their lives to protect and defend us, to keep us safe. We cannot have a normal society without them. That being said, I think we have been lied to for a long time. What is that? What am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that everybody in our blue city believed that a Republican cannot win, right? So when I was running for office, so many people, pundits, experts, political experts were saying, it's so hard to win for a Republican. It's impossible. You can't do it. Well, I knew that things were different, right? We campaigned very hard. We had an incredible team of volunteers, supporters, people who really believed in me, and thanks to all of you again for believing in me. But we really hit the ground running. We went door to door. We were on the ground every single day in every neighborhood. And I talked to many, many people in the district, and many of them are Democrats. I ran in a district that was 2-1 Democrat. And I listened to them, and I heard what they were saying. And there were so many Democrats who told me, this is the first time I'm going to vote Republican, because I'm so angry about what the Democratic Party has done to our city and our country. I am done. I am done with the Democrats. I'm done with the Democratic Party. Now we know some Democrats are good, and then we have some Democrats here, and we welcome everyone in this club. But we have to believe that Republicans have a chance to win. That's why I'm here talking to you guys, and my race is really an example of how amazing we can do. I didn't just win. We didn't just win. We took this seat in a landslide. I got 64% of the vote. That's right. That's my man, Easy Weiss over here. Let's give him a round of applause. So the point is that we can do it. Enough of the nonsense that we've been hearing for years. Republicans can't win. Republicans can't get anything done. Oh, as a Republican, you're not going to get any money in the city council. You're not going to get anything done for your district. All lies. Why? Because I'm getting exactly the same money that every Democrat is in the city council. Because I am getting probably more done than a lot of the Democrats in the city council. And so do my Republican colleagues. And we have a voice, and we build relationships in the city council, and we talk to other Democrats. I've had multiple conversations with progressives in the city council, who, by the way, many of them don't even believe what they're saying, okay? So we've got a shot, okay? So that's the point. I'm so excited for this club, for what we're gonna do here. I also wanna just acknowledge our candidates here are running for assembly. Michael Novikov, I see you. Okay? Yes. So let's wish them good luck in their races. And we're here to help. We're here to groom candidates. We're here to make sure we have good candidates running for office. Very important to make sure that candidates that are running for office are not doing it just to become popular, just to be in politics. We need people who don't need this job. I did not need this job. I had a law practice for 8 years. I did not need this job. This is a sacrifice. So this is why we're here. We're here to strengthen our base. This is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen before in South Brooklyn. I know we have other clubs, Jay mentioned, we have many clubs around Brooklyn, but we need a base here in South Brooklyn because this is a very, very red neighborhood. So I wish everybody good luck. Thank you all so much for coming. Enjoy the food. We're gonna have, I'm gonna give the mic over to Jay. Thank you again. Harris?
I'm going to do a little question and answers. Anybody has questions for anybody up here, candidates, councilwoman?
I'm here to choose people. Anyone have a question for the panel about this committee?
I have a question.
Mr. Harris.
Basically, I've been living here for a long time, and it's been my impression that the Republicans really abandoned this area for a long time. They don't run candidates, and if they do, they're very weak, and they don't run judges. You look for judges to vote for, and they're all on every party. There's no one, and they're all liberal, and the courts go to hell. So what are we doing about this? Even that end, which is if there's no justice, there's no peace. Well, that's very much so. And the police need good judges too, and we don't got it.
Hi, Mr. Harris. Thank you for having me at your Shabbat table. Okay, so that's why we're here. This is my answer. This is what I think. That's exactly why we're here, because like Joe said earlier, the Democrats, they don't even run. They don't need to run because they never have competition. We're here to show them no more. We're going to run Republican candidates against Democrats, and it's not going to be an easy time for them anymore. That's the point. We got to groom good candidates. You're right. We need to have good candidates. Running weak candidates, not good. So that's what we're here to do, to strengthen our Republican base, to support people who want to run for office, for judges, for city office, for state. We need candidates in every political position. No more of this crap where Democrats don't have any competition. Thank you.
Next question? Nobody has a question about this club, about our next meetings, about getting involved? Anyone?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Hi, thank you, panelists. Always a pleasure seeing you and Joe and all the others. My name is Herman Jeminian. I am the legislative chairman with the Correctional Officers Benevolent Association. So, in my fiduciary capacity with the executive board for the second largest law enforcement union in the city, and as a former Democrat, now registered Republican, how can I get our members more involved, who's predominantly Democrats, who's frustrated with the party, involved into this particular party without getting into trouble, so to speak?
Okay, I think from a law enforcement perspective, NYPD, corrections, I think it should start with the unions, of course. Now, the unions can't sway the members who to vote for, but I know, like my Detectives Endowment Association, they put out a candidate sheet. Hey, this is who's pro-law enforcement, this is who's for law and order, who's against bail reform, certain key points. So what I would basically talk to them about what's going on. I mean, people have to be blind not to see what's going on with the crime. The economy in the city is just down, like astronomical levels. Homelessness, mental health issues.
Pot smoking in the neighborhood.
Drug use, right?
Drug use,
Drug,
pot
yeah.
smoking, and we're suffering and in buildings and coming from windows and doors and from everywhere else, and that is unacceptable.
Right.
Especially if you have asthma, lung disease, and we are suffering, quote, so everybody else doesn't have to go to jail. Unacceptable.
I mean, that's
Pot
what it
is a
is.
drug, and they are high on it. We did it years ago. We know. Can't bullshit. I'll bullshit. And I don't want to smell it from my neighbor's apartment and his friends or anywhere in my
Right.
building, especially the children.
Well, that's one aspect of it, and it's still a federal crime. It's still on the federal
Why don't you march?
narcotics list, so it's not. It's not so.
Send them to Biden and his sister Camilla. I don't give a shit what they did. I don't want to smell that.
Our version of Angela Pink. Our version of Angela Pink.
Yeah. Oh, they can stick it up their behind.
All right, one more question, and then we'll, just have some coffee, cake, and, oh, okay, we have more, so, yes.
Question. I am a registered Democrat. I'm on the other end. All the Republicans, thank God, God bless you all. Do I stay as a Democrat or should I change over to a Republican?
No.
Change over, baby.
Councilwoman, what say you?
I mean, look, you could obviously it's up to you. If you register as a Republican, you just won't be able to vote in the Democratic primaries, but I think that it's time that everybody register as Republican.
And then the other thing about that is that I believe Ted Gora said something at one of the Verrazano Club, the Verrazano Republican Club on Monday. Their meeting. A lot of moderate Democrats are voting in the actual general election. For the primaries, it's only for your candidates, for your party. But when it comes to the general, anybody could vote for anybody, and that's where we saw that this red wave, even from the moderate Democrats, because this club is welcome to people of all affiliations. You know, whether you're moderate, you know, obviously we don't want the left wing, you know, the progressive, but right, yeah, yeah, I don't want to mention names, but yeah, but that's what we want, and I think we have more strength in numbers if people can all come together and basically vote for a change. So it doesn't matter moderate, conservative, liberal, Republican, doesn't matter. Any other?
Okay, we had another question back there.
Okay, how do we get good candidates? I mean, people have to give up their time, their job, whatever it takes.
Run.
We-
Run. You should run.
Well, I'm gonna give it to Nina because she gave up her law career.
Well, okay.
Do you have any friends?
I talk to people.
Social media.
That people
I-
have to give
look,
up their time.
I think-
I'm not saying have to support themselves and.
I think it's important that people understand that we can win as Republicans. I think Joe mentioned it before that people are afraid to run, especially as a Republican, because, you know, you don't think you can win. But honestly, it's important to run in a district, even if you don't think you can win as a Republican, just to give the Democrats a challenge. And to know that we're not just gonna sit it out, we're gonna run for office. And eventually we will win. And with the way things are going in our city and this country, I think Republicans are taking over. I think our governor, our candidate for governor, Lee Zeldin, has a shot to win. So I think it's important.
Okay, yes, here.
I just want the issue on which the Democratic Party has left me more than any other issue, and the issue that comes first to me, is Israel. Israel. And, you know, the thing, when I heard about Ina's candidacy, the thing that immediately sold me, where I said, this is a woman who has to win, and why I was so thrilled of that, but the elected was I saw that you had worked with Dov Hikind, the association with Dov Hikind, your Jewish activism on a lot of different levels, with, you know, when you were a law student, Jewish law student. So I was just, my question, just in general, you know, I came tonight, as well as on Facebook, is how do you see this club getting involved with, you know, supporting Israel, particularly maybe the settlements in Israel, some, you know, issues, you know, that, you know, or don't get the support of the entire Jewish community, like, you know, people in Hebron, the people in, you know, the Golan Heights, etc. How do you see this club playing a role in supporting some of the issues, you know, that Dov has always been an advocate for, and certainly the Jewish community, you know, has always turned to the Republicans for help when the Democrats were against it.
Sure. So We can definitely, that's a great idea, we can definitely do events here that support Israel. One of the reasons that I ran for office, one of many reasons. Yeah, I'll get you that. Yeah, Naomi will comment as well. But one of the reasons that I ran for office was because I saw that we don't have enough voices to speak for Israel and for the Jewish people. And so we have people who are anti-Israel and are speaking against Israel, and then we have people who are afraid to say anything pro-Israel. It's a topic that it's very unpopular to be pro-Israel. To be against anti-Semitism, everybody's on board. You know, when we were posting things about anti-Semitism, the entire city council was sharing that. Once you bring Israel into the conversation, it becomes a whole different topic. It becomes complicated. Israel is seen as the aggressor. So like I said, one of the reasons I did this was because I am not afraid to say things that other people are afraid to say. I am not afraid to be unapologetically pro-Israel. And we need politicians and people in office who are not afraid to speak about things, to speak out, to stand up about things that matter to us. And Israel is one of them. Israel is not popular. Many people will sit it out. Many Jewish people, politicians, candidates, will not say anything. My opponent didn't say anything about Israel when he was running his race. So again, it's important to get people to speak out, and we can definitely do things here to support the state of Israel. And I'm going to give the mic over to Naomi because she had something to say.
I don't know if you know.
Closer.
I don't know if you know, but 2 weeks ago we actually Ina organized a bicycle ride to support Israel. They went from Shitset Bay all the way to Avenue M. Very few people came, but people did come. So we should do more of that and put it in the newspaper and make sure everybody understands that we're not afraid to support. Because in my opinion, people anti-Israel, most of them are also anti-Semitic.
It's a lie that you could be you could be anti-Zionist. If you're anti-Zionist, you're not anti-Semitic.
But it is.
Zionism is the essence of being a Jew.
But it is.
To say that I'm an anti-Zionist but not anti-Semitic is a lie.
So we know that anti-Semitism is going up, and we should fight against any races for anybody, and that's very important. Good luck. And I think Ina doing that. She's there. She's on the front line. Ina.
Yes, please.
Maybe it's more of a comment than a question, but as Republicans, we're here to make a change for common sense. While I see that the other side is trying to change for what is worse, and they're not afraid to push it, they're not afraid to show it in our faces. I think the big races are great to run, but some of us should also be running for the small ones, the school board, the library.
Exactly.
So let's run for that too. You don't have to give up, your home and everything else. But you just sometimes just by putting your name on that, you're gonna get elected and make a change. Because our kids do not have to be brainwashed by these liberal, evil lunatics that are out there. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely right. So one of the candidates, Alec Procrezi, just want to say a few words.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm going to spend more than a minute. First of all, I want to say thank you to Jay and Katie and Naomi and Ina and to all of you, because I've been a community organizer for many, many years. Talking about Israel, I was I organized the first Russian Jewish mission to Israel, to Jerusalem. 300 people. That was 2003. So it's very hard to get people together. And I want to thank you for coming. Usually it's easy to hold a microphone, but very hard to get people together. So let me just tell you a few things that probably just a few things from the perspective of a person who came, who actually wasn't born here, but chose to live here in America, in New York City. And one of the major reasons why I wanted to leave the Soviet Union for a long time, I actually did in 1988 as a refugee, the reason was that people were afraid to speak up. Everyone was afraid to speak up. But in Soviet Union, it was a regular people. Now we have a very different situation. We have a situation where elected officials, democratic elected officials, are afraid to speak up, even though those who just, my former colleagues, who call themselves moderate Democrats, they're afraid to speak up because they're afraid of the primaries, and the reason they're afraid of the primaries, because Ina is absolutely right. We need people in the office who would need title, who would need that salary, who would be able to do something else in their lives, but wanted to give back by running and winning this year. So I want to thank you again, and thank you very much for this minute. If you have any questions, I'll be standing right there, but we just have to take our city back. We have to take it back. Because the Democratic Party, what they did, they just left the common sense behind. Plain and simple. Thank you very much.
Just tell everybody what district you're in.
46th Assembly District. It's Coney Island, Brighton Beach, Bay Ridge, Dyke Heights, Bass Beach. Very diverse district. People speaking more than 40 languages.
Who's the incumbent there right now?
Well, they have a Democratic primaries now. The incumbent is Mathilde Francis.
And then she's not running for re-election?
Oh, she's running for election, but first she will have to win Democratic primaries because they're fighting each other now. Thank you.
Have to get past them.
It's not gonna happen. They're not gonna pass me. No, that's for sure. Thank you.
Okay, and next we're gonna have Michael Novikov. Just come say a few words.
Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you. As I'm telling in any of the meetings, I'm not a politician. I'm not a professional politician. I've never been, and this is something very new for me. I run a radio station. I'm a journalist. I'm a media guy. I run 104.7 Freedom FM, the only Russian FM radio station here in Brooklyn, in New York. And I know what people feel, what my listeners feel about what's going on with the city. Nothing good is going on, unfortunately. And I know, I see how Democrats are afraid of Republicans coming to the city. My competitor, my Democratic competitor, Steven Simrovitz, for example, he, only knowing that someone is coming from the Republican Party against him, he started doing crazy things. He's suing me for his, I think, 20 or 30 signatures on the petitions, and he's suing me that the signatures are not legit. Crazy. So I need to spend thousands of dollars for lawyers, the money that I can spend on my campaign. He's calling my former employees, people who know me, trying to get compromise, against me. This is crazy. People told me politics is dirty, but I didn't.
Guess what? You gotta give it back to him the same way he's giving it to you.
I'm not that type of guy. I'm sorry. I didn't expect this. So, the thing is, they're afraid because they know what's going on, because they know what they did to the city, and they know what Republicans can do to the city and show what they did to the city. So I feel very powerful, and I voted for Ina, of course. I live in the neighborhood. We helped Ina. We talked about Ina on air many times, and I'm so proud that we have a Republican on board in the city. Thank you so much. And I know we spoke with Ina a couple of months ago, and she said, "Oh my God, I didn't expect just to quit my job, just to quit my regular job and do something that I never did before." And she asked me, "Michael, are you sure that you want to do the same thing?" I said, "Listen, I'm sure, because I think we don't have any other choice." Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, guys, thanks a lot for coming to our first meeting, and like I said, we look forward to future meetings. June 1st is the first Wednesday of every month.
Just remember that hopefully everybody gonna be able to get on Twitter now.
Oh, on Twitter, yeah. So hopefully Twitter will return to its senses, and then hopefully the other social media will follow suit with Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg, and well, he owns Instagram too. So.
I'm not from Brooklyn. I was in Brooklyn. I grew up in Sheepshead Bay, but I'm right now in Queens. Long time already.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Strength in numbers.
The reason I'm here is I'm representing Republican candidate for Assembly, Republican candidate, Mike Canigliaro. He's a 28 and he's for the right things. He's very pro-Israel, very pro-police. As a matter of fact, he's talking about bringing the transit police back because of what's going on over there. Now, I am a product of the transit police. I was with the transit police in 1978, and I just retired a couple of years ago from the MTA Police Department. I was the I developed the whole crisis intervention program for the